Hey, welcome back to That'll Do Garage. Thanks for joining me today. We got a couple maintenance items on the PowerStroke truck. Let's get started. Okay, so the first item we're going to do today, serpentine belt. It squeaks. It's kind of a chirpy noise. It's really probably annoying the neighbors. So I picked up a new belt. We'll change that. Second thing we're going to do is a blower motor resistor, which is right down here. And this is the blower motor, right? So you turn on the AC or the heat, and this is the fan. The blower motor is what gives you, low, medium, and high. Basically, there's a couple of different circuits with varying degrees of resistance. And as you select each one of those, it goes through a different path in the blower motor resistor, which gives you different resistance, which gives you different fan speeds. So I'm guessing that this is bad because in this truck, the only thing we have is high. And generally, high is no resistance at all. It just goes straight from the switch to the fan. So we could have a switch problem. We could have some goofy wiring problem, but this is only 20 bucks and takes about 10 minutes. So I'm gonna just pop this thing in and we'll see if that fixes it. So here's the new blower motor resistor. A couple of different tabs in there for the different circuits. And if you look at this side, those coils are the resistors. Basically, they get hot when they flow electricity. So this blower motor resistor is always mounted in the airflow path because it actually cools it down to keep it from, melting down and shorting out or whatever. So probably what we have is something in here died. I'm looking at this guy and there's a tab on both sides here. So it looks like it might be kind of difficult to get to the back side. I'm going to try to take the screws out first so that I can get to both sides of the connector. Holy moly. It's not supposed to be like that. It's a lot of rust, which means a lot of water, which is weird. Which makes me think something's leaking up above it, but I don't know. I'll probably just ignore it. It's a lot of screwing around to save these plastic tabs, right? But I feel like this is the difference between a hack and somebody who at least tries to be a good mechanic. I'm gonna sit here and putz with these and I'm gonna try not to break this 200-year-old brittle plastic just to save this little tab. And if I was a hack, I would just bend this thing off, pull it right out. But I'm gonna do my best to not be a hack. thing is crumbling apart in my hands. Oh, brother. That's why it was so difficult to come out. Nothing's ever easy. Thing is totally melted. I'm surprised I didn't start on fire. Wow. Good times. So this thing's like both rusted and melted. What a piece of junk. I think what I'm going to do is just put the new one in, because this I can just get the pigtail, maybe go to the junkyard and cut this harness off of a dead truck, or probably order all those parts too. We'll see. Yeah, the insulation's melted back right here too, so clearly there's been some drama. Yep, I'll put the blower motor resistor in and then we'll move on to the belt and I'll fix this. Golly, look at that. Much less melty. So we must have an up, right? Yeah, perfect. Alright, that bugger's done. I'll come back and fix this connector some other time. Baby steps, I guess. Onto the belt. Before we dig into the belt, I have to show you two Super Duty essentials. The first is this tray up here. It's built in just for holding your tools. Just make sure you don't forget them up here. The second thing is this calibrated device on the floor. I'm about 6 feet tall and I need a 6x6 just to get me to the perfect height. Okay, so my theory is that there's some kind of glazing on here and that might be what's making it chirp. It's also possible that I will put the belt on and it will still chirp because it's a pulley or something. But again, this is just a good place to start. So you can see we start here at the alternator, down there to the power steering pump, over to the water pump, and then down to the crankshaft, way down there, and then over to the tensioner, over there, right straight down here. That's our tensioner. Can't really, yeah, it's under the AC compressor there. And then up to the AC, and then down to this idler pulley. So what we're going to do is put our wrench on the tensioner down there in that square right at the top. We're going to release tension and then we're going to pull the belt off and we're going to compare it to our new one to make sure we have the right belt. And also while we have it off, we're going to check all the pulleys, make sure they spin free. So I'm just going to use this 1/2 inch breaker bar. I have also purchased a serpentine belt tool, which is basically the same thing but a little bit longer and a little bit skinnier. I do find sometimes that this doesn't have enough leverage for me, and so I will go ahead and put this on here as an extension, just to give me a little bit more leverage. So we'll probably do that. Pro tip number 1, find something solid and put the old belt and the new belt on there, and then just stretch them out. Make sure that they're the same length. And obviously the same width. So now that we know we have the right belt, I'm just going to go through and kind of check everything. I'm going to try to wiggle it and see if I hear any noise when I spin it. That seems okay. How about the AC compressor? Oh, tiny bit of noise from the clutch. See how the clutch moves? Not worried about that. I don't think that's what we're hearing. So now let's get to the idler pulley, which is right there. Seems okay. Tiny bit of noise, but not much. Seems tight. Moving on, power steering pump. Seems okay. How about the water pump? Looks alright. Let's check the tensioner. Yep, no noise there. It's tight. Okay, we're just gonna check the other side. That seems okay. It's got a tiny bit of noise too, but nothing too bad. So I think we'll go ahead and put the belt on. So I forgot to tell you, take a picture of the belt routing with your cell phone before you take it off. But also, there is a sticker with the belt routing. Okay, so obviously smooth side pulleys, smooth side of belt, ridges to ridges. I have this thing in here right now, roughly in the right place, but my loop of excess is way down by the crankshaft. And if I have to be up here moving the tensioner, I'm not going to be able to get my hand down there on the crankshaft and work the tensioner. So what I'm going to do is take it off the alternator carefully, and then I'm going to go down and hook up the crankshaft, and then I'll come back up to the top and I can do both. So now I can reinstall my breaker bar. I can compress the tensioner spring, and then I should have enough slack to get it up on the alternator pulley. Okay, it's important after you get it on to just do a visual, make sure all the pulleys are still seated properly. Looks okay so far. Yep, okay. Seems fine. I just gotta inspect the crank and the water pump. Yep, that looks all right. So now we can fire it up and see if it chirps. Well, it looks pretty good other than the light casualty. Want to do one final check just to make sure. It can, if it wasn't aligned properly, it can kind of run up on the edge of the pulley. And you just want to do one more check, make sure nothing is doing that. But everything looks okay here, so I think we got one job done. I didn't realize that was a possibility. Well, there we go. One job done. 436,000 to go. Thanks for watching.